Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from the campus of Hopkinton High School in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the hosting Hopkinton High Hillers and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. The Warriors back in action, coming off back-to-back trips to the Division I state quarterfinals over the past 2 years. They graduated a fair amount of talent from last year's squad, but they also return a fair amount of talent, and they're looking to run it back and make another deep playoff run, and they're hoping to start things off right here on the road against Hopkinton. They were supposed to start the season at home on Thursday against Framingham. That game got postponed due to the heat, and then they didn't want to play yesterday because they didn't want to play 2 games back-to-back to start the year. And so here we are with their actual season opener, take 2 on the attempt to start the season here out in Hopkinton. Remember, first off, thank you all so much for tuning in once again today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. If you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I've got plenty of Brookline soccer action on the docket this fall, boys and girls, all 3 levels, varsity, JV, and freshmen. And I believe I'll be covering this same varsity girls soccer team again on Monday, as I believe they're hosting Newton South for their new home opener on Monday the 11th. So be sure to stay tuned for that and plenty more. Subscribing to the channel can help. And as always, I encourage audience participation in the live chat. You know, if you simply want to say go Brookline or go Hopkinton, as we've already got one person rooting for Hopkinton, ZHCAJDDLE, saying let's go Hopkinton. And I appreciate that. I don't care which team you're rooting for. I appreciate fans bringing the good vibes and bringing the support for their favorite teams and or players. If you want to let us know where you're tuning in from, that can always be fun, you know, with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world. If you notice any technical difficulties, do not hesitate to tell me so in the live chat. Wi-Fi's, you know, shown some signs of possibly being shaky. So far, so good. But if things get really bad, please let me know in the live chat. I am recording this while streaming it, so if some major plays get cut out from the live stream, I can upload a recording later tonight. And then, of course, if you notice me absolutely flubbing the pronunciation of anyone's names, you know, it's a new season, plenty of new names on the Brookline side, and also plenty of new names for this Hopkinton team, as it's my first time covering them. So if you notice me butchering anyone's names, please let me know in the live chat. And on that note, let's take a look at the rosters for the 2 teams coming in today. Let's start over on my right in the green jerseys, the hosting Hopkinton High Hillers. Going in order of jersey number for Hopkinton, first off, we have a sophomore, number 00, Ayla Chase. Next, another sophomore, number 0, Ella Nye. Next, we have number 3, Sophia Zoganatos. Next, a junior, number 5, Avery Michaud. A junior, number 6, Laura Mosher. A freshman, number 7, Fotini Grantzos. A senior, number 8, Anna Scalora. A sophomore, number 9, Mayrin O'Connor. A junior, number 10, Madison Recupero. A junior, number 11, Nina Zokanatos. A junior, number 12, Aubrey Thomas. Nina Zokanatos, number 11. I'm not sure if I caught that. Then a junior, number 13, Nicole Tedstone. A junior, number 14, Annalie Krantz. A senior, number 15, Emily Scaff. A junior, number 16, Anaga Kulkarni. A senior, number 17, Juliana Grantzos. A senior captain, number 18, Joanna DuPont. A sophomore, number 19, Alex Clark. A senior, number 20, Stephanie Johnson. A senior, number 21, Georgie Clark. A senior captain, number 22, Brooke Birtwhistle. A sophomore, number 26, Ashley McCann. And a sophomore, number 99, Callie Arthur. Head coach of the Hopkinton High girls soccer team is Tom Skiba. So that is the roster for Hopkinton. Now let's take a look at the roster for your 2023 Brookline Girls Soccer Warriors. Once again, going in order of jersey number. First off, we have a freshman, number 1, Paige Hammond. A sophomore, number 3, Jada Kimbrough. A junior manager, number 4, Ashley Cherwin. A junior captain, number 5, Vilena Chernychev. A freshman, number 7, Haley Ament. A freshman, number 8, Juliana Siegel. A junior, number 9, McKenna Hammond. A senior captain, number 12, Amra Kamadou. A sophomore, number 13, Julia Vianello. A sophomore, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman. A junior, number 15, Babette Hall. A junior, number 16, Nora Shue. A sophomore, number 17, Lila Cannon. A junior captain, number 18, Anna Leshley. A junior captain, number 19, Sydney Fries. A sophomore, number 20, Amalia Lindgren Palm. A junior, number 21, Greta Radke. A freshman, number 23, Jameson McGee. A senior, number 24, Emma Eisenhower. And the team's goalkeepers this year, junior Julia Cherwin, and a freshman, Chloe Price. Head coach of the Brookline High girls soccer team is Ben Peters. So that is the varsity roster for the Brookline High Warriors, and you see the warm-ups wrapping up. The teams will soon be taking to the field. The 2023 varsity girls soccer season is almost underway for the Warriors. From Hopkinton High School in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Breakaway chance, Kesselman, shot, score! Moore boots it high, Ukamadou chasing, Ukamadou the header! Deflecting through, shot by Chernychev, that one's in! All right, and here we go. The Warriors coming out onto the field wearing their white jerseys with their blue outline jersey numbers. Starting in net for Brookline today will be the junior Julia Cherwin. Play in net is going to be an interesting thing to watch for Brookline this year. They graduated both varsity netminders last year, Talia Thompson and Phoebe Shea. So it's going to be a new look in net, a few new looks at a few different positions, but that one projects to be the big one. Meanwhile, the home team, the Hopkinton High Hillers, coming out in their green jerseys with white jersey numbers. Looks like starting in net for the Hillers is going to be number 00, Ayla Chase. And the team's going to play the first half going in opposite directions of their benches as you see them switching sides. Brookline's going to be playing from the right, Hopkinton from the left. Among the Brookline starters, we see number 9, McKenna Hammond, number 12, Amra Ukamadu, number 16, Nora Shu, number 18, Anna Leshley, number 5, Velena Chernichev, number 19, Sydney Fries, number 15, Babette Hall, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman, and I think that's number 13, Julia Vianello, rounding out the 11 on the field alongside goalkeeper Julia Cherwin. Hopkinton going to start us off. Number 21, Georgie Clark, gets this game underway. Hopkinton moving the ball upfield, a couple deflections, back and forth like a pinball, and it is taken by the Warriors. Babette Hall kicks it forward, and then Anna Leshley kicks it forward off the foot of McKenna Hammond, and then cleared out by number 22, Brooke Burtwhistle. Burtwhistle gets the pass and kicks it forward again, finds number 10, Madison Recupero. Pass to the outside to number 3, Sophia Zoganatos. They work it up the near side for number 18, Johanna Dupont. Dupont kicks a centering kick, finds a teammate, kicked forward and walled off briefly, but recovered by Georgie Clark. Or no, sent out to Georgie Clark by number 20, but now Brookline clears it, goes up to Ukamadu. Amaru Ukamadu's got speed. Watch out. Amaru Ukamadu off to the races down the far side, charging in, running out of space, though, she's cut off by Burtwhistle. Be prepared to watch plays like that all season long, Brookline fans. Amaru Ukamadu, an absolute speed demon along the edges. But Hopkinton working the ball up fast once again. Recupero with the ball along the near side, waiting for her chance to try and center it, and she's walled off. Julia Vianello clears it, goes through the legs of Zokanatos. It's recovered by number 20, Stephanie Johnson. Couple deflections back and forth, and it goes out of bounds. Zokanatos throws it into Recupero. Back to Zokanatos. Kick towards the middle, cut off, I believe, by Leshley, but it deflects over to Hopkinton's number 19, Alex Clark. Pass intercepted by Brookline, taken away. Pass goes up to McKenna Hammond, now to the outside to Nora Shu. Shu gets cut off by Anaga Kulkarni, and it's knocked out of bounds. Quick throw-in to Chernichev. Chernichev pass over to Sydney Fries. Fries sends it to the far side, misses Amalia Lindgren-Palm as it goes out of bounds. Throw in, taken by the Hillers, tapped back for Alex Clark, who boots it way upfield, bounces past everybody, chasing after it. That kick is deflected by Georgie Clark. She recovers it along the near side. Hopkinton's been living on that near corner, and now a crosser comes in, booted away instantly. I believe that was Babette Hall who kicked that one away. Recovered by Zokanatos, popped up in the air, downed briefly, but then kicked away by the Brookline defense. That was Mirabelle Kesselman. Now the loose ball is won by Anna Leshley, gets tripped up, no whistle, and okay, no, there's no whistle. Play continues on. That pass broken up by Lindgren-Palm, but then taken right back by Johnson, passed over. Dribbling with it now is Recupero to the outside to Kulkarni. Tries to tap it forward for Recupero and exceeds the back line, or it might have been offsides. Either way, it's going to be a free kick for Brookline. Free kick from Hall, launched in the air off the head of Recupero. Bouncing along off the head of Kesselman, off the head of Lindgren Palm, and Leshley kicks it back to Kesselman. Kesselman up the line to Lindgren Palm, and it's knocked out of bounds off the defense from Nina Zokanatos. Quick throw in for Brookline. Gets to Leshley. Leshley dribbling around, passes it over to Freeze. Freeze dribbling across the middle, passes to the near side to Shu. Shu knocked away and could not be kept in bounds by Sofia Zokanatos. Throw in for Brookline. Shu throws it in, bounces past Hammond. Race to the ball won by Birtwistle. And looks like it is going to stay Brookline ball after it was kicked out by Birtwistle. Shu throws it into Hammond, goes off her leg, and it's kicked away by Johnson, but recovered by Freeze. Freeze sends it up the far side. That might be too far for Lindgren Palm to recover. It is going to go out the back end. That's going to be a goal kick for the Hillers. Ayla Chase simply taps it over to Birtwistle. Birtwistle kicks it across midfield. It is downed by Georgie Clark, recovered by Recupero. Pass through, finds her target. And another through pass, charging in and kicking it away is Julia Cherwin as the kick bounces past Lindgren Palm and out of bounds. Almost a very nice through pass for the Hillers, as I think they were trying to get that one through, but just couldn't quite, as that one's knocked down, taken by Lindgren Palm. Kicks a long leading kick, but it's going to go all the way down to Ayla Chase. Chase kicks it, bounces past Kulkarni. Battle for the ball, and it's ultimately recovered by Vianello. Pass to the middle to Freeze. Freeze sends pass up, misses Leshley, and it is kicked away by number 17, Juliana Grontzos. Sent up to Recupero. Recupero racing up the far side, turns around, moves towards the middle, taps a pass. It's tapped back to her, back and forth. They somehow complete those passes, and that pass a little too far off the foot of number 18, DuPont. DuPont was trying to lead one for Nina Zokanatos, but just a little too far. We've gone from a rainy day to a very sunny day out here in Hopkinton. As the guy with the electrical equipment, I am very happy about that. That ball is going to be taken back by Hopkinton, but a slip and a fall by, I believe, DuPont, as it's taken away by Brookline. Pass gets up to Leshley. Leshley sends a long leader. It's a race for the ball. McKenna Hammond almost caught up to Chase, but it's recovered by Ukamadu. Ukamadu pops one up. Oh, it bounced over the net. Brookline missed it by that much. McKenna Hammond racing after the leading kick. Ayla Chase had to come out and kick it away. The kick went right to Ukamadu, and Ukamadu smartly popped it over the goalie, but just an unlucky bounce as it just went too high over the bar. Long pass completes to Georgie Clark. Pass to the outside for Nina Zokanatos. Zokanatos cutting towards the middle. Leaves one, and it's passed back to Zokanatos, broken up and kicked away. I think that was Kesselman in coverage, taken now by Birtwistle. Birtwistle sends a pass through, intercepted by Freeze. Freeze, kick is deflected, but still gets to Nora Shu on the near side. Shu kicks one towards the middle, intercepted by Recupero. Now back to Sofia Zokanatos. Now that pass misses, intercepted by Shu. Shu's pass deflected and taken back by Recupero. Recupero sends a pass up to DuPont. DuPont. Kick is deflected, bouncing across the middle. Kicked up by Lindgren Palm up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu controlling the ball, dribbling through the middle, sends a pass, misses, and it's kicked away by Grontzos. Now taken back by Leshley. Leshley gets around Johnson. Leshley racing up the far side, kicks a centering kick over the head of Ukamadou and taken away by Birtwistle. Up the middle it goes, taken by Hall. Hall racing up, and it's stolen away by Recupero. Recupero pass goes up to Clark, to Georgie Clark. Now a pass back to Kulkarni. Kulkarni loses her footing and loses the ball. It's taken away by Shu. Shu sends one through for Hammond. Hammond times it well. McKenna Hammond racing up the near side, cutting towards the middle, looking for a pass. Pass deflects right back to Hammond. Hammond passes back to Chernychev. Chernychev winds, deflected by Birtwistle, and kicked away. Georgie Clark taps it back to Recupero. Now sends a long leading kick for Clark, but Babette Hall cuts it off, sends it back to Cherwin. Cherwin sends a pass up the middle to Freeze. Freeze to the outside to Kesselman. Kesselman walking it up the far side. Now pass finds Leshley. Leshley dribbling towards the middle. Sends one through to Chernychev. Chernychev sends a leader just too far. Picked up by Chase. Chase punts this one away. And it's off the head of Freeze. It's downed and taken by Recupero. Now over to Zena Zokanatos, and back to Alex Clark. Up the line, misses DuPont. Race to the ball, and Kesselman boxes it out, and it's going to be Brookline ball. Lindgren Palm throws it in. Battle for the ball won by Freeze. Freeze tries to kick. It's deflected out by Recupero. Another quick throw in from Lindgren Palm. Downed by Grontzos and then kicked towards the middle, intercepted by Chernychev. Chernychev tries to pop one for a leader. It's a race to the ball. Grontzos gets there first, passes it back to Chase, and Chase boots it away and out of bounds. Lindgren Palm throw in deflected away by Alex Clark, but recovered by Chernychev. Chernychev manages to get a pass away to Leshley. Now back to Freeze. Freeze sends it up the middle for Ukamadou. Ukamadou tripped up from behind, but gets the pass away to Chernychev. Now that one's poked away, I believe, by Johnson. Gets up to Recupero. Now up to DuPont. Now back to Nina Zokanatos. And that kick deflected out of bounds by Kesselman. It'll be Hiller's ball. Oh, is this actually going to be a free kick? They might have called a penalty or something against Brookline, it looks like, as Birtwistle launches the free kick off the foot of Sofia Zokanatos, downed by Shu. Shu matched up against Kulkarni, and Kulkarni can't keep it in bounds. Shu getting ready to throw it in. Off the head of Leshley, and it's going to bounce right to Birtwistle. Birtwistle pass up to Sofia Zokanatos. Pass deflected by Leshley, recovered by Kulkarni. That pass deflected by Chernychev, recovered by Leshley. Over to Freeze, and back to Leshley. Leshley, cross midfield, sends a pass up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou takes a try and dribble through. Pass walled off by Birtwistle. Recovered by Lindgren Palm. Sends one to the middle, downed by Birtwistle again, and kicked up to Recupero. Recupero pass across to, I want to say, Alex Clark, booted high in the air, downed by Kesselman. Bounces out of bounds, Brookline ball. Or no, Hopkinton ball. Or no, Brookline ball. Briefly confusing. Throw-in goes off the head of Alex Clark. Off the head again. Collision for the ball, and it's won by Johnson. Pass up to Recupero. Recupero back to Johnson. Now pass goes up to Kulkarni. Kulkarni kicks it through. Georgie Clark's got a beat on the ball. Fires a shot, and it goes wide. Contested by Babette Hall, but a prime chance for Georgie Clark to try and get the first goal of the game. We got a few subs coming in now for Hopkinton. I see number 26, Ashley McCann, number 9, Mayrin O'Connor, and one more. And I didn't quite see who came in, but I'll figure it out as we go. Pass up, misses Leshley, but she slides ahead to get the pass up to Lindgren Palm. Pass intercepted by Johnson. Johnson kicks it upfield, taken by Kesselman. Pass out to Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm walking it up the far side. Pass, skips past to Commodore. Sliced by Birtwistle, almost taken by Hammond, but Birtwistle recovers. Birtwistle kicks it upfield, bouncing along. Georgie Clark racing with Vianello. Vianello barely manages to get there first and just kicks it out of bounds. Still no score here in the first half. Scoreboard clock behind me says 25.5 minutes on the clock here in the first. Throw in, deflected down. Pass back, I believe this is McCann. Pass through. Too much traffic for Georgie Clark, and it's booted away. Downed, rolling a bit far, but it is chased down by Ukamadu, who tried to get a pass, but mistimed it with Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm somehow keeps it in bounds, battling. Gets around her defender, despite having no room, but her pass off the mark gets taken by McCann. Pass over to Johnson. Johnson sends pass through, intercepted by Hammond. Given now to Chernychev. Chernychev sends one ahead, just wide of Ukamadu, and it's booted away by Grontzos. And we've got a penalty called against Clark, who boxed out Vianello just a little too hard. A bit hasty on the free kick, I guess, but now Hall takes it and passes it to Leshley. Leshley racing up the middle. Pass up, gets away from Ukamadu. And Grontzos has to get it because Lindgren Palm was racing up the line to keep that one in bounds. Pass goes back to Chase, now to the near side to McCann. McCann kicks it ahead, finds O'Connor. O'Connor back to McCann on the outside. McCann's kick deflected out of bounds by Shue. Quick throw in, downed by Clark over to O'Connor. O'Connor gets pass up to Georgie Clark. She sends it up to O'Connor. O'Connor gives it to Recupero, now back to McCann. McCann across to the middle to Johnson. Johnson over to the far side to Alex Clark. Alex Clark boots it towards the box. Recupero could not collect it. It bounced too far, but she is going to keep it in bounds along the near side. Pass over to O'Connor. O'Connor back to McCann. McCann gets around a defender, launches one. That's going to sail high and wide. As, poor camera work on that one. My bad. I think the official just said there's going to be an official water break at the 20-minute mark. It's been a very hot week out here in New England, and today one of the cooler days at 81 degrees. As the goal kick from Cherwin simply given to, I believe, Hall. Pass up the middle to Chernychev. Now to Leshley. Leshley battling with Nina Zokanatos. And it goes out of bounds, stays Brookline ball. Lindgren Palm, the quick throw in. Chernychev dribbling around. Finds a bit of a lane to dribble through. Now a sliding pass up ahead. Deflected, taken by Johnson. Johnson trying to dribble around. Deflected by Ukamadu, taken by Leshley. Leshley sends it ahead to Hammond. Hammond off to the races, sends a leader for Ukamadu just a little too far. And it's taken by Chase. Chase rolls it into Birtwistle. Birtwistle back to Chase. Pops it over to the near side to McCann. McCann kicks it forward to O'Connor. Cut off by Freeze, but going to be lost out of bounds. McCann throws it in off the foot of Shue. Another throw in. Another quick throw-in up to Georgie Clark, taps it, and it's taken by Recupero. Recupero sends a through pass, aiming for Georgie Clark. She's going to catch up with the ball, has it, crosser to the middle, and that one's tapped in. All right, I had a little trouble seeing exactly who scored that one. My apologies, folks. If anyone in the live chat saw and wants to let me know, I encourage you to do so. But either way, Hopkinton takes the 1-0 lead as they now go back on the attack. Just got confirmation it was number 10, Madison Recupero, with the goal assisted by number 21, Georgie Clark. So Recupero from Clark for the first goal of the day. Wrestle for the ball. It's won by Freeze. Passed back to Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling around. Weaves through a couple of players, but then it's booted away. Back to Cherwin. Cherwin boots it up high. Going to go off the head of Leshley, off the head of Grontzos, off the head of Recupero. And Recupero gets the favorable deflection out of bounds. Hopkinton ball. And now at the 20-minute mark, they're going to call for an official water break. And with that, I'm going to take a brief water break myself. Oh, no, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. 20 minutes and 4 seconds on the scoreboard clock out here in Hopkinton. Here in the first half, Hopkinton with the 1-0 lead over Brookline. Off the goal by Madison Recupero. Off the assist from Georgie Clark. And really, Hopkinton has been displaying some high-level passing early in this one. And it's interesting to note because Brookline, among the many players they graduated off their varsity roster last year, they lost not only their starting netminder in Talia Thompson and their backup netminder in Phoebe Shea, they also lost a top-level center back in Cecilia Wager. And so a lot of pieces on defense did not come back this year. And so it might be a bit of a learning curve on the back end for Brookline. We will see as the season goes on. Out of the water break, the throw-in goes to Birtwistle. Birtwistle wrestling to get through some Brookline players, gets the pass up, but it's kicked away by Kesselman, taken by Chernychev. Chernychev pass back to Kesselman. Kesselman back up to Chernychev. Chernychev tries to send one through just wide of Leshley, and it's taken by Nina Zokanatos. Pass to the middle, deflected, taken by Freeze, but then lost, recovered by I think Georgie Clark. Passed back to Recupero, back up to Clark. Clark trying to dribble through, sends one through, offsides. Again, Hopkinton finding the open passing lanes. That time, Brookline defense with a good move, letting the player get behind them before the ball did for the offsides call. Free kick is taken by Birtwistle, who's moving up more towards the midfield at this stage. Pass goes up to Chernychev. Now up the near side, cut off by McCann, and up to O'Connor. Deflected out of bounds by Chernychev. McCann throws it in, headed down by Chernychev and back out of bounds. McCann, another throw-in, downed by O'Connor, but wrestled away by Lindgren Palm, who was switched over to the near side. Pass back to McCann. That pass cut off by Hammond, but Lindgren Palm's pass deflected, and it's recovered by Recupero. Recupero going up the near side, leading kick for Clark. Clark sends one back to O'Connor. O'Connor back to Clark. Clark, pass across the middle to Birtwistle. Birtwistle trying to break through, runs over a couple defenders, play still going, and it is finally cleared out by Brookline, but it deflects right back towards the attack area. Birtwistle with the ball, pass to the outside, and fighting through several defenders and launching a shot was number 13, Nicole Tedstone, as that shot was caught by Sherwin. Kesselman now with the ball. Pass to Freeze, tap over. Now back to Freeze. Tries to send one through again, but handball on Hopkinton. Kesselman with the free kick up to Freeze. Now up to Chernychev. Chernychev over to Vianello, up to Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm gets around a defender. Amalia Lindgren Palm dribbling, pass up, gets away from Hammond, and it's kicked away by Grontzos, but right to Chernychev. Chernychev sending a leader. Ukamadou trying to race for it and prevent the offsides, and she does, but the ball was lost by Chase, but now we've got an offsides call against Ukamadou. A long leading kick, that obvious. It's easy for the defenders to jump up from where the striker is waiting for the ball to pass them. Because the striker is looking at the ball, they can't follow the defenders back. This kick headed down, deflects over to Birtwistle, pass up to Nina Zokanatos. Further up, gets through the defense. O'Connor racing after the ball. Sherwin comes in, kicks it over to Vianello. Vianello kicks it, intercepted by Recupero. Recupero to the far side for Tedstone. Tedstone keeps with the ball. Now pass, intercepted by Chernychev. Chernychev dribbling around, pass to the near side to Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm could not battle through McCann. McCann pass for Georgie Clark. Clark weaves her way through, fires a shot, goes wide. Between her off-ball movement and her ability to weave through defenders, Georgie Clark has been a big offensive threat, as we now see our first Brookline substitutions. Coming in, we see one of the freshmen, number 7, Haley Ament. I don't quite see who came in on the far side, but I'll look for the jersey number as we go. Pass goes up, skips away, and is taken by Sofia Zokanatos. Pass, and that one just gets away. was Jada Kimbrough, the newcomer for Brookline, who was in pursuit there. Nina Zoganatos passes to the middle to Recupero. Recupero dribbling through, weaving around, fires a shot walled off by Kesselman. Clearing kick was walled off by a teammate. Tedstone fires a shot, comes in wide on the near side. Walking the ball up is Hall. Pass to the outside to Kesselman. Kesselman's kick knocked out of bounds by number 7, Fotini Gronsos. Throw in from Kimbrough. Off ahead, downed by Nina Zoganatos. Kick up for Recupero. Now forward for Birtwistle. Birtwistle fires a long shot, and that sails just over the bar. Just under 14 minutes left here in the first half. Hopkinton leads 1-0. Hall walking it up again, gets around one Hiller, and now passes it up the far side to Kimbrough. Kimbrough loses the ball, stolen away by Sofia Zoganatos. Pass to the middle for Recupero. Recupero dribbling with it. Pass back to Nina Zoganatos. Kicks it ahead and lost out of bounds. Brookline ball. Another Brookline substitution. That is number 17, Lila Cannon, comes into the game. Deflection into open space taken by Georgie Clark. Clark pass for Birtwistle. Birtwistle fires a shot, and that one is in. 2-0 off the goal from Brooke Birtwistle, assisted for the second time by Georgie Clark. So a big deficit Brookline is facing here, trailing by 2 here in the first half. And Aleshley dribbling with it, sends it out to the far side, and it goes out of bounds. Throw in. Deflects back to Sofia Zoganatos. Pass back to number 17, Juliana Gronsos. Now deflects away from Recupero, taken by Cannon. Cannon walled off by Juliana Gronsos, taken by Recupero. Recupero pass up the middle to Georgie Clark. Clark's pass to the near side to McCann. McCann, a leading kick. Chased down by Ament. And Ament just has to kick it out of bounds. Throw in here. Downed and controlled by Clark. Pass back to Recupero. Recupero, pass forward to Birtwistle. Birtwistle's shot deflected by Vianello. And now recovered by Shue. Taken away by O'Connor. O'Connor pass almost gets through, but Kesselman kicks it away. It's taken by Cannon. Cannon now launches a long kick. It's a race for the ball. Hammond racing with Alex Clark, and Chase gets there first and boots it away. Deflected in the air by Chernychev. Downed by Recupero, kicked into the air. Headed down by Kesselman. It's a scrum for the ball, and it's won by Nina Zoganatos. Kicks it up the far side to Fotini Gronsos. Fotini Gronsos going up the far side. Turns around, passes back, and out of bounds. Got another Brookline substitution coming in. This is number 24, Emma Eisenhower. Throw in from Kimbrough. Okay, now the throw in goes to Eisenhower. Pass back to Kesselman. Kesselman up the line to Kimbrough. Kimbrough racing upfield, pass for Cannon. Cannon receives it, trying to fight through defenders. It's knocked out of bounds, stays Brookline ball. Kimbrough throws it in to Leshley. Leshley trying to fight around Nina Zoganatos, out of bounds, Brookline ball. We got another an injured player. That's Mirabelle Kesselman coming off with an injury. I mean, on a hot day like today, you hope that's just, like dehydration cramps. We'll keep our eye on that. But for now, checking into the game is number 21, Greta Radke. Throw in. Leshley pinned against the sideline. It's stolen away, brought by Birtwistle. Birtwistle boots it. Gets past one defender, but not past Vianello as she boots it away. Ball bouncing along, and Birtwistle pops it into the air. Bouncing off the foot of Ament. And deflected again by Ament. And Ament keeps it in bounds and gets it back to Hammond. Hammond taps it back for Chernychev. Chernychev, pass up to Ament. Pass back to the middle. Could not get to Chernychev, taken away by Recupero. Recupero now dribbling with it, kicks it back to Chase. Chase sends it to the near side to Alex Clark. Clark racing up the side, and it's deflected out of bounds by Ament. Throw in by McCann is controlled by Georgie Clark. Clark could not fend off all the white shirts in there, and it's taken away by Chernychev, but Chernychev can't fight through Clark. But now it's deflected away by Chernychev, but recovered by Birtwistle, pass back to McCann. McCann sends one up, downed by Vianello, and now passed up to Chernychev. Chernychev pops one in the air, bounces past Cannon, deflects off a defender, and it's just barely kicked away by Sofia Zoganatos, as Kimbrough was trying to get around the corner on that one. Throw in to Eisenhower. Eisenhower gets a pass back to Hall. Hall fakes and sends it all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin sends a pass out to the far side to Radke. Radke up the line to Kimbrough. Kimbrough gets around a defender, gets around another. Dribbling through, pass back and forth, and now booted away by Birtwistle. Jada Kimbrough, one of the players promoted from JV to varsity this year and showcasing her skill here in the season opener. Some nice ball handling on that play. Leshley takes the throw in, passes it back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower turns around, passes back to Hall. Forward to Chernychev. Chernychev gets around a defender, but then goes back to Vianello. Leading kick, bouncing along. Cannon might have a beat on it. Cannon charging, trying to recollect the ball, trying to get a pass away. She couldn't. It's taken by McCann. Clearing kick, deflected back by Chernychev, but controlled by Birtwistle. Now taken again by Vianello. Eisenhower recovers, passes back to Hall. Hall sends it out to the far side for Kimbrough. Kimbrough couldn't get around Sofia Zoganatos, taken back by the Hillers. Passed around back to Sofia Zoganatos, now up to Fotini Gronzos. Now back and forth, intercepted by, I believe, Leshley. Now intercepted back by Birtwistle. Birtwistle, it's kicked away, but recovered by Recupero. Recupero dribbling around, somehow gets a pass through there, but it's booted away by Hall. And Zoganatos just going to let that one bounce out of bounds. Just over 6 minutes left here in the half. Sofia Zoganatos throws it in to Nina Zoganatos. Pass over to Georgie Clark. Now lifts one over the defense for Nina Zoganatos. Fires a shot, and it sails just high. Radke applying the defense there. And this will be a goal kick for Brookline. Pass to the near side. Now kicked upfield, gets away from Chernychev, taken by Nina Zoganatos. Pass over to Johnson. Johnson fights through one defender, can't fight through a second. It's kicked away, but recovered for a second by Zoganatos. Now Birtwistle fighting for it. Birtwistle gets to the ball. Birtwistle cutting around, fires a long shot that's deflected, and it rolls harmlessly into the arms of Julia Cherwin. Brookline passing it back and forth, goes back to Ament. Ament sending it up the near side, finds Hammond. Hammond fighting through one defender, can't fight through a second one. It's kicked away by McCann, gets to Johnson, over to Kulkarni. Kulkarni sends it up the middle to Birtwistle, who quickly gets it through to DuPont. DuPont off to the races, trying to get around Hall. Turns around, pass back to an open Kulkarni. Kulkarni pops a shot, but it's taken off the bounce by Cherwin. Cherwin rolls it in. Pass from Ament to Chernychev and back to Ament. Now back to Chernychev. Chernychev fakes and taps it back to Hall. Now up to Eisenhower. Eisenhower sends it forward to Hammond. Hammond could not get past McCann. It's kicked away. Birtwistle pass to Johnson. That pass gets up to Fotini Grontzos, but it's wrestled away forcefully by Vianello. Vianello dribbling with some space. Vianello deflected on her attempted pass by Birtwistle. Alex Clark pass to the near side to McCann. McCann sends it up the line, and that's just going to keep rolling and stay in bounds. Fotini Grontzos going to catch up to it. Centering pass finds an open Kulkarni, who pops it up in the air, and it flies wide. Hopkinton getting a lot of open passing lanes here in the first half, and they are taking advantage, getting a number of quality chances, and thus far 2 goals here in the first half. Hall pass up to Leshley, and now back to Radke. Deflected out of bounds by DuPont. Brookline ball. Throw in, gets to Cannon, tap back for Leshley. Leshley manages to send it through to Chernychev. Chernychev sending a long leading kick. It's a race for the ball. Alex Clark going to get there first and send it back to Chase. Chase sends a kick back out to the far side to Clark. Alex Clark sends it up the line. It's downed by Leshley. Cannon takes it. Cannon passes back. This is Eisenhower. Eisenhower sends one forward, gets away from Hammond, recovered by Ament. Ament cutting around, tries a kick, walled off by Nina Zoganatos, recovered by Chernychev. Chernychev gives it through to Leshley. Leshley battling against Sofia Zoganatos. Gets to the far side, tries to send a through kick, but it's booted away and deflects over to Kulkarni. Kulkarni boots it back upfield, gets it to DuPont. DuPont pass back to Sofia Zoganatos. And it's booted across midfield, and it's going to be taken by Hall. Hall sends it back to Cherwin. Cherwin pops it over to the near side, gets away from Ament and out of bounds. McCann throws it in. It's deflected down. Stays Hopkinton ball. McCann throws it in. Controlled by Fotini Gronsos, but pass intercepted by Chernychev. Chernychev back to Hall and up to Chernychev. Chernychev pass up to Leshley. Leshley to the outside to Vianello. Vianello pass deflected into the air and downed. Deflects back and forth, and it gets up to Cannon. Cannon's got some space to dribble. Now sends a long leading kick, and it's picked up by Chase. Kick out to the near side to McCann. McCann up the line, cut off by Ament. Ament over to Chernychev. Chernychev couldn't fake out Kulkarni. And taken by O'Connor, popped into the air by Nina Zokanatos, and we've got the whistle for halftime. At half, the score, Hopkinton 2, Brookline 0. The Hillers get a goal each from Madison Recupero and Brooke Birtwhistle, both assisted by Georgie Clark. At this halftime break, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry saw a huge increase in demand for food assistance at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that number has remained steadily high ever since. The food pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, more than 4 times the rate of families served pre-COVID. Brookline Food Pantry is fighting the good fight against hunger in our community, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish Church at 210 Harvard Street in Brookline on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the food pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. Go online or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can help the Brookline Food Pantry to feed your community. Once again, brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And remember, as always, you can see all the information about our local charity spotlight down in the description down below. And you can also see a link to the Venmo page for the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you want to help support the team monetarily. But it is halftime. Our score at half, Hopkinton 2, Brookline 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm going to mute the mic for a few minutes while I take a break, but I'll be back with the second half of this game. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Hopkinton High School in Hopkinton, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the second half of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the hosting Hopkinton Hillers and the visiting Brookline Warriors. Hillers have jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first half, off goals from Madison Recupero and Brooke Burtwhistle, both assisted by Georgie Clark. Brookline appears to be feeling the effects of some of the talent that they graduated from last year. I mentioned their starting netminder, Talia Thompson, their starting center back, Cecilia Wager, who I think was actually the Bay State Conference MVP last year. And then one of their best middies in Sari Frankel, who is now a starter at Division I Fordham University. You know, just speaks to the kind of talent that Brookline had. All three of those players have gone on to the college game, one of them to D1, and one of them is starting at D1. So you can see where the struggles on the back end and in the transition game might be coming. Meanwhile, Hopkinton looking to take a step up after they had a strong 12-3-3 regular season record last year, but were relegated to the 19th seed, probably due to the power rankings, probably due to strength of schedule. They did end up advancing to the quarterfinals with a big, they advanced to the round of 16 last year with a win over, with an upset win over 14th seeded Lexington, 1-0, before falling to Mayfield-Sheehan, the 3 seed, in the round of 16. Brookline, of course, advanced to the round of 8 for the second year in a row. They defeated, Brookline went in as the 7th seed following a 10-3-4 season. They defeated 26th seeded Woburn 3-1, then beat 10th seeded King Philip 4-2, and then fell to 2nd seed and eventual state champ Hingham 3-2 in the round of 8. But a very different team in terms of age. Brookline with 5 freshmen coming in this year after having only 2 freshmen on their roster last year. And meanwhile, just 1 freshman. Just 1 freshman on the varsity roster for Hopkinton this year, that being Sophia Zoganatos. So very big difference in terms of experience as we get the second half underway. Brookline controls it first to start the second half. Amru Kamanu tries to send it through, pass is deflected a couple of ways and lost out of bounds. And it's going to be Hopkinton ball. Sophia Zoganatos getting ready to throw it in. Throw-in goes back to Juliana Grantzos. Zoganatos pass intercepted by Anna Leshley. Leshley dribbling off to the races, gets around a defender, gets to the near side. Crosser coming towards the box, deflects back, and is booted away by Brooke Burtwhistle. An unfortunate deflection away from the netminder almost gave Brookline a golden chance, but not quite. Julia Vianello passes forward to Sydney Freeze. Sydney Freeze gets crowded by Hillers, and it's stolen away by Madison Recupero. Recupero tries to send a leading kick, but nobody there, and it's going to be scooped up by Julia Cherwin. Cherwin punts it. It's downed by Velena Chernichev, but that's going to roll too far and go out of bounds. Throw in is downed by Recupero. Pass back to Stephanie Johnson. Back over to Recupero. Pass through the legs to Nina Zoganatos. Tries to give it back to Recupero, but it's kicked away by Haley Ament. Throw in coming for the Hillers. Thrown in, deflected down by Joanna DuPont, but now it goes off the hand of Recupero. Handball. Kesselman boots it high. It's deflects several which ways. Now Babette Hall pops it in the air off the head of Johnson into open space. It's downed by Julia Vianello. Passed back to Hall. Hall trying to get around, but it's stolen away by Georgie Clark. Clark dribbling towards the middle. She's got space to go. Now cut off by Mirabelle Kesselman. Recovered by Recupero, who gets sandwiched by a couple defenders. Taken away by Sydney Freeze, who kicks it out to the near side to Ament. Ament kicks a leader for Ukamadu, who's racing up the near side. Ukamadu off to the races, fires a long crossing kick. Just misses both the net and a crashing McKenna Hammond. Oh, and it actually went so far across, it went out of bounds on the sideline instead of the back line. Throw-in goes to Brooke Birtwistle. Pass back and popped into the air out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw-in is deflected away by Freeze. Gets to Anna Leshley. Leshley sends one through for Hammond. Hammond charging in, trying to control the ball. Gets around defender. Shot is saved. Recovered, but kicked away. Brookline still with it. Shot is blocked. And we're going to have our first corner kick of the day. A huge save by Ayla Chase, the Hopkinton netminder, off a point-blank shot from McKenna Hammond. But now we're going to have the game's first corner kick. Looks like Velena Chernichev going to take this kick. It's up in the air, and it's too high. Gets over everybody. Recovered by the Hillers. Leading pass goes up to Nina Zoganatos. Now up to Georgie Clark. Hopkinton running on the counter. Kick goes up ahead. Race to the ball. It's just too far for DuPont, and it's going to be scooped up by Cherwin. Given up to Freeze. Over to Ament. And now up to Kesselman. Up to Leshley. Back to Freeze. And we've got a whistle. Looks like for some reason either an injury or a shoe malfunction or something. Johnson's coming off the field, replaced by Anaga Kulkarni. So it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Again, with the day as hot as it is, sometimes players just have to come out with cramps. We saw Kesselman leave the game back in the first half, but now she's back out there and seems fine. Ament, pass ahead, wide of Leshley, but she battles it away from Birtwistle. Leshley, slide tackle by Birtwistle, and just barely out of bounds. Almost kept it in, but not quite. It'll be Brookline ball. Or is this going to be a free kick? Did they call a penalty on Birtwistle? It was a penalty on Birtwistle, so it's going to be a free kick. Kesselman's setting up to kick this one. Kick is high in the air towards the box. Deflects away. It's a scrum around the box. It's cleared out. And Clark kicks it further up ahead to DuPont. DuPont sends a pass, gets it to the outside to Recupero. Recupero racing, lost track of the ball, and it's stolen back by Vianello. Vianello kicks one up to Lila Cannon. Cannon manages to regain control of it, but then ran out of room, but not before a penalty was called, as Kulkarni, I think, was a bit over the back on that one. So now they've got Chernychev setting up to take the free kick. Here comes the kick, headed away by Birtwistle. Bounces right back to Vianello, who taps it back to Chernychev. Chernychev launches a long kick, goes off the head of Juliana Grantzos. DuPont trying to take it, but it's kicked away by Ament. Now kicked away by Birtwistle, gets up to Clark, but it's cut off by Freeze. Freeze sends it to the outside for Vianello. Vianello up the line for Hammond. Hammond walled off by McCann. Ball's lost out of bounds. Last touched by Brookline. McCann, the throw-in. Downed by Georgie Clark. Pass to the middle finds Birtwistle. Birtwistle trying to send one through, but it's cut off by Ament. Ament's kick deflects into the air off Recupero. Recupero battling with Ukamadu for the ball. Ukamadu wins the battle, and it's deflected forward to Cannon. Cannon trying to send one through, cut off by Grantzos. Grantzos stripped of the ball by Leshley. Leshley kicks to the outside for Ukamadu. Ukamadu back to Leshley. Leshley taps it back to Ukamadu. Hard physicality. Two Brookline players get tackled to the ground, but there are no whistles. It's taken by Grantzos. Grantzos up to Clark. No, you can't hope for the whistle. You just got to keep playing through it. At the end of the day, it is still the official's call, whether you agree or not, and you got to respect it. Recupero sends one forward, out of reach of DuPont, and it's taken by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it right to Nina Zoganatos. Zoganatos sends a pass cut off by Kesselman, but it's recovered and then deflected back to Zoganatos. Now pass to Clark, across to Recupero. Recupero dribbling, stays with the ball. Fakes, goes towards the middle, weaves through some defenders. Shot is blocked by Kesselman. Recovered by Kulkarni. And lost out of bounds. Throw-in goes to Hall. Hall finally decides to send it back to Cherwin. Cherwin sends it out near side to Ament. Ament cutting towards the middle. Zoganatos meets her. Very physical, and they call the penalty on Zoganatos. They're going to have Cherwin take this free kick. Try and get as many players up as possible. This one goes up off the head of Chernychev. And swooping in to knock it away was Ukamadu, but it's recovered by Alex Clark, sent up to Birtwistle. Up to Recupero. For Birtwistle again, and she takes it and gets around a couple defenders. Birtwistle sends one to the middle, collected by DuPont, but she briefly lost it and couldn't recover in time. As it's booted away, Chernychev sends it back to Freeze. Freeze taps it for nobody and has to recover it herself, sends it back to Kesselman, up to Chernychev. Chernychev sends it back to Hall. Hall out to the far side to Vianello. Vianello up the line, finds Hammond. Hammond fights through McCann, still fighting, still going. Hammond keeps control, now sends a leader up for Ukamadu. Ukamadu couldn't get there first. It is booted away. Now this one high. Race to the ball, and it's won by DuPont. DuPont's shot blocked by Hall, and it's going to go out of bounds. Looking for a throw-in. It's going to go to Georgie Clark. Clark, pass over to Mayrin O'Connor, back to the outside, crosser towards the box, headed away by Kesselman. Nina Zoganatos chased it down, passes back to Birtwistle. Birtwistle's long kick deflected away by Leshley, recovered briefly by Ukamadu. Ukamadu fighting and got it for a second, but it's taken back by Juliana Granzos. Past the outside, intercepted by Ament. Ament keeps control, pass through to the middle, finds Chernychev. Chernychev sending a leader through, race to the ball, not going to get there, and it's picked up by Chase. Chase rolls it into Granzos, kicked back to Chase. Chase now sends it out far side for McCann. McCann up the line to Georgie Clark. Clark passes back to Kulkarni. Kulkarni back to McCann. Cross to Clark and through to Kulkarni. Kulkarni up to DuPont. DuPont to the middle to Georgie Clark. Leshley wrestles it away. Leshley dribbling, sends one up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu couldn't keep it near her, and it's kicked away by Alex Clark. Up to Birtwistle. Birtwistle gets around one defender, stops and passes it back to Sofia Zoganatos. Now to the near side to Nina Zoganatos. Now towards the middle for Kulkarni. Kulkarni to the outside. It's out of reach for McCann, and it's out of bounds. Substitution for Brookline. Emma Eisenhower returns to the field, replacing Sydney Freeze. Throw in up the line, gets to Hammond. Hammond pass to the middle to Eisenhower. Eisenhower sends it to the near side to Ament. Ament kicks it up the field for Ukamadu. Ukamadu gets around her defender. Ukamadu fires a shot, and that's going to go wide. About 25 and a half minutes left here in regulation. Brookline still trailing by 2. Pass up the middle, almost intercepted by Leshley. Instead, it's going to be taken by Granzos. Pass over to Nina Zoganatos, back to Granzos. Granzos up the middle to Georgie Clark. Back to Nina Zoganatos, back up to Georgie Clark. Slides it back over to Nina Zoganatos. Now pass intercepted by Ament. Ament sends it up the near sideline for Ukamadu. Race to the ball. Ukamadu gains the angle. Crosser to the middle. Just misses. No penalty. It's recovered by Chernychev, and she launches it too high. Ukamadu tried to keep it in, but could not. Substitution checking in for Hopkinton, number 13, Nicole Tedstone, replaces Joanna DuPont. And that clearing kick walled down by Cannon, but then picked up again by Chase. Chase launches this one. Hall trying to corral it, and she sends it back to Cherwin. Cherwin out to Kesselman. Kesselman up to Eisenhower. Eisenhower up to Leshley. Leshley now kicks a long one too far. And it's going to be taken off a couple bounces by Chase. Chase punts it. It's downed. Ricochets a couple times, and it's taken by O'Connor. O'Connor, long leading kick too far. Hall passes back to Cherwin, sent out to the far side to Vianello. Vianello to the middle, deflects, and taken away by the Hillers. That's Georgie Clark. Across to Nina Zoganatos. Decides to pass back to Alex Clark, who sends it up to Kulkarni. Out to the far side. Now this kick misses. And it's going to be scooped up by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it. Downed. Grontzos pass over to Nina Zoganatos. Back to Grontzos. To the middle to Kulkarni. And then back to Alex Clark. Popped into the air. Over Vianello. And a scrum for the ball. And ultimately boxed out enough for Cherwin to get her hands on it. Rolled into Ament. Ament sends it up the line. Ricochets back and forth and gets to Ukamadou. Pass to Leshley. Leshley trying to fend off Grontzos. Sends it up the line for Ukamadou. Ukamadou gains the edge again. Ukamadou charging in. Crosser kicked away. Brookline starting to get some chances along the edge with Ukamadou. As we've now got a couple of substitutions. Hammond and Chernychev checking out for Brookline. Checking in, I'm trying to see some jersey numbers. At the very least, I'll see them as we go. Throw in, deflects back to Ament. Ament couldn't fight through Sofia Zoganatos, and it's passed back to Alex Clark and booted upfield. Taken now by Kesselman. Kesselman, running out of room, kicks it up the line, deflects, but deflects right to Leshley. Leshley trying to gain the edge. Gets around Clark, tries a crosser, but ran out of room. That'll be a goal kick. Goal kick is downed by Vianello. Vianello pass, and that one deflected out of bounds by Hopkinton off the attempted pass by number 8, Juliana Siegel. Throw in to Siegel. Taken away by the Hillers. Gronzo sends it ahead, intercepted back by Vianello. Long pass for Cannon. Cannon trying to fend off multiple defenders and draws a whistle. Free kick. Now coming for Brookline. Leshley setting up to take it. From what looks to be about the 25-yard line of the football field. Line drive kick bouncing into the waiting arms of Ayla Chase. Chase punts it, cross midfield. It's taken by Kesselman. Kesselman to the outside to Ament. Ament sends a pass across to Vianello. Vianello sends it up, misses Siegel, and it's taken away by Grontzos. Grontzos sends it Up the far side, cut off by Hall and passed back to Cherwin. Cherwin back to Hall on the far side. Hall. Pass through to Vianello. Vianello fights through. Still moving, sends one up the middle to Cannon. Cannon pops one in the air, off ahead. And that's going to go out of bounds. And it looks like we've got either a timeout or an official water break. Either way, we've got a pause in the action. We've got a question in the live chat from ZHCAJDDLE. Jesse, any football soon? Well, if you're wondering about high school football, I have not yet been booked for any high school football games for any schools at the moment. I mean, if you know any football coaches or football parents that might want to book me, you know, feel free to share with them my contact information. But that aside, funnily enough, I will actually be covering a football game tonight, but it's going to be it's not going to be on this channel. It's going to be a semi-pro football game for the East Coast Football League. But yeah, aside from that, nothing on the docket football-wise. Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah, if you search my full name on YouTube, you'll find the channel.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. 18:30 on the clock here in the second half. Hopkinton still leading Brookline 2-0. Off the first half goals from Madison Recupero and Brooke Birtwhistle, both assisted by Georgie Clark. Out of the break, it's throw in for Brookline. Deflects back to Vianello. Vianello passes it back to Hall. Hall across to Kesselman. Now to the near side to Ament. Ament up to Eisenhower. Eisenhower trying to dribble up the middle. It's broken up, but she recovers, passes out to Vianello. Long kick up to Cannon. Cannon can't complete the pass, intercepted by Clark, but then wrestled back by Leshley. But her pass too far out of the way, and that's going to go. Oh, is that a corner? I think Nora Shue, number 16, I believe she was the one who forced that that Hopkinton defender to knock it out of bounds. And so now Juliana Siegel setting up for the corner kick. Brookline's second of the day. Launches it towards the box and again just sails too high. That's the tricky thing about corner kicks. You want to get height, but not too much distance. Throw in. Scrum for the ball, out of bounds, still Hopkinton ball. Brief stoppage for a substitution. Brooke Birtwistle checking back into the game for the Hillers, replacing Sophia Zoganatos. So now instead of Zoganatos, it'll be Alex Clark throwing this one in. Throws it back to number 6, Laura Mosher. Kicked up into the air off the head of Kulkarni. And Kulkarni battles past Shu. Now kicks it up the line. And that one kept in bounds by number 8, Anna Scalora. Scalora walled off by Hall. It'll stay Hopkinton ball. Throw in, bounces and kicked away by Ament. Now recovered, booted back, and that's just going to bounce past the back line, and that'll be a goal kick for Brookline. 15.5 minutes left in regulation here. Brookline still trying to get their first goal of the season. Hall kicks it up to Ament. Ament kicks it up the line for Ukamadou. Ukamadou's got a beat on the ball. Ukamadou racing, gets around the defender, charging in. Crosser! It's a scrum. And cleared away by the Hillers. Brookline's cleared a path up the edge for Ukamadou a few times. And she's crossed it into the box. Brookline just can't seem to get the right foot on the ball once that crosser happens. Throw in goes to Chernychev, who's back in the game. Pass up finds Hammond, who is also back in the game. Long pass back to Hall. Hall pops one in the air. Charging in for it is Ukamadou. Ukamadou loses her shoe as Alex Clark takes that one away. Now booted up in the air by Mosher, deflected by Hall. Eisenhower manages to take it, pass it up for Ukamadou, deflects towards the middle. Georgie Clark with it. Chernychev fighting her for it, kicks it into open space. And Vianello trying to force her way through and take that ball away, and she does. Julia Vianello asserting herself physically on that loose ball, but now Juliana Gronsos cuts her off and kicks it away. Goes to Kesselman. Excuse me. Back to Kesselman. Kesselman passes, gets away, and a penalty is called. And it's going to be a free kick for Hopkinton. And Brookline coach Ben Peters audibly and comically upset with that call as he shouted at the official, "This isn't basketball. You can't set a pick." But the long free kick from the Hillers goes out of bounds anyhow, and it will be a goal kick for Brookline. Hall's going to walk it up, pass up to Leshley. Leshley fighting around O'Connor, pass to the far side for Vianello. Knocked away by Kulkarni, gets to Scalora, who passed to O'Connor, who tried to pass. And that's going to roll out of bounds and actually go off the corner flag. So they're going to call that a throw-in. Thrown into Vianello, back to Hall, who boots it upfield. Finds her target, that's Shu. Shu battling the defender and gets a little too cramped there with Chernychev, and it's knocked away, taken by Kulkarni. Kulkarni pass back to Grontzos, up to Georgie Clark. Clark kicks it out to the near side, and fighting for it and winning it is Ament, who's now battling with Fotini Grontzos and just decides to kick it out of bounds. Haley Ament has been really impressive along the wings on the defensive and midfield side in her varsity debut. Some of the JV call-ups have some of the JV call-ups and some of the freshman newcomers have been impressive so far today. But that said, Brookline's still trailing 2-0. Long kick downed by Birtwistle. Birtwistle kicks it, ricochets several ways. Back and forth it goes. Eisenhower collides hard with Birtwistle. That's going to be a penalty. And so it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Leshley to Ament. Ament to Eisenhower. Eisenhower, pass intercepted. Number 14, Annalie Krantz, sends it up to Fotini Grontzos, over to Nina Zoganatos, stolen away. Chernychev now with the ball, passed back to Leshley. Now out to the far side to Vianello, back up to Leshley. Leshley turns around, passes it back to Vianello. Vianello to the middle to Chernychev. Chernychev reaches out and gets one up, and sliding in so she can kick it away is Leshley. Gets it up to Hammond. Hammond dribbling and sends one out too far. And it's taken by Chase, and oh, we've got a player down, hurt. That is Anna Leshley. Based on how they're trying to help her stretch, my guess is it's a cramp due to the hot day, but, you know, certainly hope that's just temporary. Anna Leshley, of course, has been huge for Brookline over her past 2 varsity seasons. She scored 10 regular season goals over the past 2 seasons, being helped off the field. She had to kind of lost her footing and had to slide in awkwardly to kick that ball away. But she's walking off pretty easily. Not any kind of hugely pronounced limp or anything like that. My guess is just a cramp, but obviously we'll keep an eye on that. 10 minutes left in regulation now. Long kick downed by Hall. Taken by Juliana Grontzos. Trying to fight through several Brookline defenders, and ultimately it's taken away by Eisenhower with help from Siegel. Pass goes back to Hall. Hall passes to nobody, and it goes out of bounds. Throw in, bouncing along. Controlled by Ament. Ament pass back to Cherwin, up to Hall, and back to Cherwin. Cherwin out to Kesselman, up to Ament. Ament racing up the near side now, kicking it ahead, cut off by Alex Clark. Alex Clark. That ball could not be kept in bounds. It'll be Hiller's ball. Throw in from Alex Clark. Up to Georgie Clark, deflects several times and is knocked out of bounds as Ament lost her shoe. Throw in to Georgie Clark. Pass back to Juliana Grantzos. Now pass to the near side to Alex Clark. Kicked towards the middle. Headed away by Hall into open space where it's going to be chased down by Nora Shue. Shue kicks it upfield to Hammond. Hammond taps it back for Chernychev. Chernychev over to Eisenhower. Eisenhower, contested kick intercepted by Fotini Grantzos, but Eisenhower deflects it away, recovered by Siegel, past Chernychev. Chernychev dribbling around, gets around a couple defenders, but then gets cut off by Recupero, recovered by Siegel, passed back to Vianello. Popped up field to Hammond. Hammond turning around, back and down. Loses the ball, recovered by Siegel. Tap over to Chernychev. Chernychev pops one in the air. Alex Clark barely gets it away. It's recovered by Hammond. Hammond fires. It's blocked, recovered by Ukamadou. Ukamadou gets tripped up from behind. Ukamadou down on the field. You can see her trying to get back up. And they're going to have to sub out Ukamadou. You know, again, we've seen a couple players come off and then come back out, and she is walking on her own power. So again, probably just a cramp. But this is going to be a very interesting situation because that was a penalty draw in the box. And so it's going to be a penalty kick. This one coming from Velena Chernychev, a bit hard to see through all the players lining up waiting. Chernychev trying to register Brookline's first goal of the new season. She scored Brookline's first goal last year. Can she do it again this year? There's the whistle. Shot is in! Velena Chernychev puts Brookline on the board with the PK score off the penalty draw from Amra Ukamadou. It's a 2-1 ball game. 6:55 reads the time on the clock. Brookline still needs one more goal if they want to tie this one up. Pass goes back to Recupero, over to Nina Zoganatos. Back to Juliana Grantzos. Pass up to Fotini Grantzos. Now to the middle to Recupero. Recupero dribbling through. Sends a through pass for Georgie Clark. Georgie Clark off to the races. Offsides called. Brief scare there. And they're racing upfield as Cherwin gets ready to kick this one away. Cross midfield it goes, off the head of Alex Clark. Deflected back and booted away. Upfield it's taken by Recupero. Recupero's got the edge down the far side. Recupero sends in a crosser. Clark collects it. Clark gets around one defender, fires a shot, and it's off the bar, and it's still in the box, and it's cleared out by Eisenhower. The Hillers almost went right back up by 2, but it just goes off the bar. Pass over to Nina Zoganatos, now to Recupero. Recupero dribbling around, pass kicked away by Eisenhower, recovered by Birtwistle, now knocked away, bouncing along. Ball's taken by Jada Kimbrough, who came in to replace Ukamadou after she went down hurt following the penalty draw. Chernychev trying to kick this one through. She is swarmed on all sides, but gets a pass away to Siegel. Siegel pass to the near side, too far for Kimbrough, and that's going to roll out of bounds. Just over 5 minutes left. We got some subs coming in for Brookline. Number 21, Greta Radke, replacing Babette Hall. Alex Clark throws it in to Recupero. Recupero going up the edge, booted out of bounds by Kesselman. And it's going to be Hopkinton ball again. Clock is frozen at 5 minutes. So we are in stoppage time. The only ones who know when this game is going to end are the officials. Throw in to Recupero. Penalty on Brookline, and it's going to be a free kick for the Hillers. Pass to Nina Zoganatos, back to Recupero. Recupero knocked out of bounds. And it stays Hopkinton ball. Tossed over to Alex Clark, who throws it in. Deflects back to Recupero. Recupero gives to Clark. And it's out of bounds, and it's going to be Hopkinton ball again. And now more subs coming in on both sides. Looks like Anna Leshley checking back into the game for Brookline, replacing Emma Eisenhower. Mayrin O'Connor coming in for Hopkinton, replacing Anaga Kulkarni. Throw in, popped up in the air. Back and forth, Georgie Clark corrals it, fires a shot that's going to sail well wide, and that's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. We got another sub checking back in for Brookline. This is Amra Ukamadu coming back in. And you got a race for those substitutions as Ukamadu comes in for Kimbrough. They got to race this upfield. Kesselman boots it upfield off the head. Downed. Deflects back and forth, taken by Chernychev. Chernychev taps it back to Leshley. Leshley out to the far side for Radke. Radke up the line to Shu. Shu, it's deflected out of bounds by number 15, Emily Scaff. And a hard hit for a penalty on Hopkinton. Brookline setting up for the free kick. They're racing into place. Anna Leshley getting ready to kick this one away. Timeout now called by Brookline. So it's going to be a free kick for Brookline when we come back from the timeout. This game coming down to the wire. A one-score game in stoppage time. Wi-Fi is getting a little shaky here at the tail end of this game. So if things are skipping on your end, viewers, please let me know in the live chat. Like I said, I do have a fully recorded version of this game going as well that I'll be able to upload later tonight. Just kind of hoping that it recovers. But it is going to be a free kick. This one appears to be coming from Vilena Chernychev. Chernychev scored on the PK just a few minutes ago. Now trying to set things up off the free kick. and sends a pass to Vianello. Vianello's kick is deflected. Scaff trying to chase this one down. She has to launch it out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. So they decide not to launch it towards the box and try and go for a bit of a finesse play. It doesn't quite work out as planned. Quick throw-in to Chernychev, and no, they say they got to move up to the right spot for the throw-in. Ament throwing it in. Birtwistle. Scrum for the ball. Birtwistle wins it. Trying to seal it. Send it up the line. Gets to O'Connor. O'Connor trying to fight through. Intercepted by Leshley. Leshley sends it up the line to Chernychev. Back to Leshley. Leshley looking. Stolen away by O'Connor. Scrum for the ball. It's kicked away. It goes all the way back to Kesselman. Kesselman winding up. Long kick. Oh my! No, it's over the top! Oh, Mirabel Kesselman almost sent this place into a frenzy. That one looked like it was going to catch the top part of the net, but it goes just over the bar and along the back side of the netting just to tantalize the fans there. Goal kick. Long goal kick goes off Kesselman's head the wrong way. Down deep in the Brookline end, and Kesselman is going to get there and boot it out of bounds. Thunder rumbling in the distance as we are waiting for the triple whistle to end this game, and it's for some reason there was some confusion. Brookline thought it was their ball. Throw in up the line. Vianello boots it and can't stay in bounds. Scaff to throw it in. Off ahead. Downed by Ament. Ament pass through to Chernychev. Tap to the outside to Shu. Shu boots it upfield. Walled by Birtwistle. Birtwistle is cut off, and it's booted upfield by Chernychev, but recovered by number 14. Stolen away by a couple of players. Ukamadou trying to control it, and it's wrestled away by Alex Clark, and there is the triple whistle. The Hopkinton Hillers hold on to win. The final score here in Hopkinton, Hopkinton 2, Brookline 1. Brookline, after a tough first half, looked much better in the second half, looked much more in sync on all three phases, and it really shows you that, you know, there's going to be a learning curve for some of the new players that have come up this year, whether they be promoted from JV or new freshmen. You know, there's some things to learn in terms of where everyone's supposed to be in a given situation, where you want to send the ball in a given situation. Just get everything in sync, you know, so you don't have the kind of defensive gaffes they were struggling with throughout the first half, and even a bit at the tail end of the second half. Hopkinton jumped out to the 2-0 lead in the first half off of goals from Madison Recupero and Brooke Birtwistle, both assisted by Georgie Clark. Brookline got the lone score of the second half. The score coming on a penalty kick from Vilena Chernychev after the penalty draw in the box by Amra Ukamadou. And that's how things are going to end. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be covering Brookline girls soccer again on Monday as they host the Lions of Newton South on Monday. Be sure to stay tuned for that and plenty more Brookline soccer action throughout this fall season. Subscribing to the channel can help. If there's anything you'd like to say and the live stream has concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. You can also go down below to the description section, find the link to the Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, so you can financially support the program. You can also go to the description section to find information about our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry. Find out how you can help feed your community. And check out the bottom right corner of your screen for more information about me. The URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team or player. You can also email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Final score, Hopkinton 2, Brookline 1. From Hopkinton High School in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to be away for a few days in October. Not all of them, but got a family trip that was planned like last Christmas, and so I can't miss that. And then I got a friend's wedding towards the end of the month.
Towards the end of October?
Yeah, so I'm going to be